This presentation is going to be giving a background on the red wolf, as well as discussing the four major components red wolves need managed in order to thrive in their designated habitat. When looking at the history of the red wolf, they are known to be found ranging all across the southeastern United States and predominantly in North Carolina. It wasn't until 1967 that they became classified as endangered, and this was due to them being hunted for population control as well as habitat degradation. Currently, there are approximately 400 red wolves in the wild and approximately 200 of them in captivity. This particular visual shows the different locations across the United States where you can find the source population and facilities designed to help maintain them, as well as the geographic regions where the red wolf has historically resided. Lastly, it also points out the North Carolina red wolf recovery area. When trying to identify a red wolf, one is able to distinguish them from other canids based on their medium size, their hair color being brown buff with small black streaking, their size ranging about 4 feet long, 45 to 80 pounds, with a lifespan of 6 to 7 years but up to 14 in captivity, and their body to head morphology being a broad head, wide muzzle, tall pointed ears, long, thinner legs, and big feet. Here is a visual of the red wolf where you're able to see its physical characteristics that distinguish it from other canids. Now, before we go into the specific wildlife management needed for the red wolf populations across the United States, I feel it's important to note that hardy populations in general are good indicators for a robust environment. When understanding the different facets of wildlife management, it's important to produce and uphold suitable types of foliage and successional stages in an acceptable configuration for the betterment of that animal's survival. Wildlife management is defined as creating a balance between wildlife and human necessities, using the most appropriate scientific studies and practices necessary in the context of the specific species involved. Some of the different facets of wildlife management to focus on are minimizing biodiversity loss, wildlife conservation, species preservation, and the improvement of habitats. Some examples of wildlife management could be gamekeeping, conservation of wildlife populations, and pest management. When looking at the appropriate resources and practices needed to maintain a quality habitat for wildlife management, a specific plan should include how to regulate the four following habitat resources. Those include food, cover, water, and space. All of them are a vital necessity for the quality of the habitat for that species. Red wolves are known to travel up to 20 miles a day in order to find food and will eat approximately 3 to 5 pounds a day. Being carnivores, some of the most common animals they eat are white-tailed deer, nutria like beaver and otter, rabbits, and raccoon. Red wolves are currently found around coastal prairies, marshes, and forests, and need well-established understory to provide adequate coverage for their dens. Their dens are normally found in hollow trees or ground-dug holes near fallen trees, sandy knolls, and stream banks, as well as debris piles. A secondary purpose for their cover is utilized by their prey for food. The dens are usually established near water sources in their designated habitats, such as lakes and streams, because they normally have well-hidden canopies around the given area to give their dens protection and blending for hunting. It also helps themselves and their pups have adequate water to drink. Red wolf home range requirements are 25 to 50 square miles minimum, so they need larger, well-established ecosystems to be able to move those distances while still being able to blend into their surroundings. Wild populations currently roam over 1.7 million acres throughout the northeastern part of North Carolina. One way you can help bring more awareness about the proper wildlife management of the red wolf is by donating to the defenders of the wildlife. In conclusion, when establishing a wildlife management plan, make sure food, cover, water, and space are all available to provide a robust habitat for the species found there. When looking at the red wolves, they need adequate amounts of small woodland mammals, well-developed understory close to water sources within the forest, coastal prairies, and marshes, with large acreage to be able to roam and hunt for food. This concludes this presentation on the red wolf species and how to manage their habitat.